All right, today we are diving into something I think we've all felt, the chaotic morning. We're going to break down the science of why our days can feel totally off the rails before they've even started. And more importantly, we're going to build a super simple 5-minute framework to turn that chaos into calm, focused energy. Let's get into it. Does this hit home for you? That feeling when you wake up and before you even sit up, your brain is just on. The to-do list starts buzzing, maybe your heart is already racing a little bit, and it feels like you're playing catch-up on a day that literally just began. You are so not alone in this. It's a super common feeling. And it's so easy to think this is just some kind of personal failing, right? Like a lack of discipline. But the truth is, it's actually baked into our biology. Understanding why our brains are so vulnerable first thing in the morning is the absolute first step to taking back control.
And that brings us right to the science. See, this isn't about trying to force yourself to become a morning person overnight. It's about understanding the unique state your brain is in when you first wake up, and then learning how to work with that state instead of constantly fighting against it.
Okay, so this is pretty fascinating. It all comes down to what's called the theta brainwave state. For about the first hour you're awake, you can think of your brain as being in this highly programmable, almost hypnotic mode. Neuroscientists like Dr. Joe Dispenza talk about this a lot. Your subconscious is basically wide open. So whatever you feed it first thing, whether it's stressful news or intentional calm, has this massive, outsized impact on your entire day. And this state creates a kind of perfect storm of vulnerability. So first, your nervous system wakes up, and it immediately starts scanning your environment for cues. Is it safe? Is it threatening? Second, your cortisol levels, that's your alertness hormone, are naturally at their highest point, which can very easily tip over into anxiety. And third, your prefrontal cortex, the logical, rational part of your brain, well, it's still booting up. It's no wonder that grabbing your phone and jumping right into emails feels so jarring. On top of all that, we have to deal with something called decision fatigue. Think of it like this. You only have so much high-quality decision-making fuel in your tank each day. When your morning is just this frantic scramble of tiny reactive choices, what should I wear? What do I eat? Which email do I answer first? You're just burning through that precious mental energy before you even get to the stuff that really matters. This is exactly why willpower just isn't enough most of the time. There's this brilliant quote from James Clear that just nails it. Relying on sheer grit to have a good morning is like trying to sail through a storm without a rudder. What you really need is a simple, repeatable system that does the heavy lifting for you, especially on those days when you don't feel motivated at all. So what does that system actually look like? Well, we've pulled together the best science-backed techniques into one simple, unified framework. And listen, this is not about adding some hour-long, complicated routine to your already packed morning. This is about a powerful 5-minute reset. The whole framework is built on 3 really simple steps. First, you ground your body to calm down your nervous system. Second, you filter your thoughts to take back the steering wheel of your own mind. And third, you set your intention to give your day a clear direction. So let's break each of those down. Step 1 is all about interrupting that immediate feeling of anxiety with a grounding exercise. And the 5-4-3-2-1 method is fantastic for this. It's so simple. You just name 5 things you can see, 4 things you can physically touch, 3 things you can hear, 2 things you can smell, and 1 thing you can taste. This little technique yanks your focus out of worrying about the future and plants it right here in the present moment. It's like a reset button for your nervous system. And hey, there are other really easy ways to do this too. Drinking a glass of water before you even think about coffee, getting a little sunlight on your face, or even just planting both of your feet flat on the floor and taking 3 deep breaths. These are all tiny physical signals that tell your brain, hey, we're safe, we're in control here. Okay, so with your body feeling a little calmer, now we can turn to the mind. And this right here is a game changer. Your mind produces thousands of thoughts every single day, but you do not have to engage with all of them. So many are just noise, repetitive, fear-driven static. The practice of filtering your thoughts is about becoming the bouncer at the door of your own mind and consciously choosing which thoughts get your attention. So how do you actually do that? Well, you become the gatekeeper just by asking a couple of simple questions. When an anxious thought pops up, just pause and ask, is this thought actually helpful to me right now? Is this thought serving my purpose, or is it just sabotaging my peace? That simple act of questioning creates a little bit of space, and it gives you back the power to choose what you focus on. And the final piece of the puzzle is to set a clear intention. This idea is so key. If you don't prioritize your life, someone else will. Now, this is not about making a rigid 50-item to-do list. It's more about asking yourself something like, what kind of energy do I want to bring to my day? Or what would a successful day feel like today? Asking that question primes your brain to start looking for opportunities that actually line up with that intention.
All right, so you've got the 3 steps: ground, filter, set. But the million-dollar question is, how do you make this a consistent practice that actually sticks around? Well, the answer is in the science of change.
The real magic behind this whole reset is a concept called neuroplasticity. The big idea here is that your brain isn't fixed. It's not set in stone. It's constantly building new connections and pathways based on what you repeatedly do and think. So by consistently starting your day with this 5-minute reset, you are literally, physically rewiring your brain to default to calm and focus instead of anxiety and reaction. You're carving a new path.
And I just love this quote because it makes the science feel so personal and empowering. Neuroplasticity means you aren't stuck with your current mental habits. You have the power to create new ones. Your brain is actually designed to change, and a simple routine like this is the tool you use to guide that change. So how do you make it stick? Let's get really practical. First, link it to something you already do every day, like right before you make your morning coffee. That's called habit stacking. Second, keep it simple. Seriously, 5 minutes is incredibly powerful. And finally, aim for repeatable, not perfect. The goal is just to have a reset you can always come back to, especially on the messy days when you need it most. Ultimately, it really does boil down to this. Those first few minutes of your day act like the rudder for your ship. By intentionally taking control of that small window of time, you create this incredible ripple effect of focus and calm that can carry you through the rest of the day. Which leaves us with one final, very simple question. You've got the science, you've got the framework, you know it doesn't have to be complicated or perfect. So what will you choose to do with your first 5 minutes tomorrow? The power to completely reset your day is right there, waiting for you.